I don't quite know how it's taken me 6 years to get round to seeing Richie Rich, but I have to say, it's pretty good fun and basically every child's dream. This was originally out in 2015, obviously very much like the film Richie Rich, and is about a young kid who is a trillionaire. He had an overnight success with an accidental invention, which I won't go into any detail about because it's mentioned in the first episode, and he has this mansion that is literally every child's dream. It's about so many floors, and everything's all high tech and modern and magical and just everything that you could imagine. And I've only seen the first episode, that's all I'm discussing today, and then I will say at the end whether or not I plan on watching the rest of the first season. But you can probably tell quite quickly how warmly I've taken to this because I thought it was a barrel of laughs. And the only thing I will say is that I'm struggling to identify the target audience. I am 29 and thoroughly enjoyed it, but I feel like it belongs on like Nickelodeon. I watched it on Netflix. I'm not sure what the original um who the original distributor was. Apparently, it was Netflix in 2015. So I don't know. I feel like part of it is aimed at everybody. Part of it's more of a Nickelodeon teenage audience. But either way, one of the reasons it works really well is because Richie Rich, as a protagonist, played by Jake Brennan, is brilliant. And I think he is so likable and so easy to get on with. He's not, in his first episode at least, he's not obnoxious. You know, there are similar programs and similar films where the young child is very wealthy and they're very demanding and they want the best of everything, but he just seems to still have this zest for life. And one of the main focuses of this first episode, partly exploring this house and the fact that he has agreed to take his two best friends to the Swedish House Sensation concert while also having family game night. It's the fact that he's grounded. You know, he's still spending time with his two best friends, who obviously have not made trillions of dollars overnight, and he's still having family time. He is still living under. In fact, his father says at one point, "Your house, my rules." So even though he's the one who's bought this mansion, he's still a child, and his father is still responsible for him. The family dynamic I'm not 100% sure of yet in terms of his mother. He has an older sister, Harper, played by Lauren Taylor. There are questions that I have after this first episode about the family dynamics that I am assuming will be answered in later episodes. But the fact that this first episode is all about, first of all, establishing how he has this money, and second of all, establishing that Richie Rich as a character is still very much grounded with who he was beforehand, is something that I really like. It's telling us that we're not going to be watching an obnoxious preteen. I can't remember how old he is. Maybe 12 or 13. You know, it's not going to be about an obnoxious brat. He actually is very likable. Jake Brennan is fantastic in this role. And I have to say, Joshua Carl, I can't even say it. Carlon is, I love the character. So he actually plays Murray, who is Richie Rich's financial advisor. Now, he's the same age as Richie Rich, and I just think he is so fabulous and a lot of fun and very, very well acted. The same, of course, is Jenna Ortega, who I've seen in quite a few things, and it took me a little while to recognize that it was actually her in this. She plays a very likable character, actually. Darcy is obsessed with money and, you know, wanting the best clothes and the best designers and the best brands, but not in a way that makes her unlikable. And that's one of the really interesting things about this. It has all of the fundamentals of a really annoying set of characters, and they're all just really likable. I do think having a concert, I mean, I can't say too much about what happens with this, but the concert aspect of this felt a little bit over the top for the first episode. But I also think it started as it means to go on. There are some really fun inventions in this. It makes me want to see what else it has in store. So as a first episode, it's pretty good. Obviously the character is created by Sid Jacobson. Richie Rich is a character who has appeared in various different guises, and I just find him really fascinating. I think it's a really interesting concept of what a child would do with that much money. And mansion warming as an opening has left me with questions, but not in ways that make me feel like I have been given all of the information. It's left me with questions that I will hopefully have answers to if I keep watching. And to answer my own question, will I watch it again? I will. I don't think it's one I'll binge watch, but I really enjoyed this. I'm very curious to see what else they're going to do with it, because obviously, given how rich Richie Rich is, money can buy you anything, which means that money can create anything for this show. I'm very excited to see what happens. It's a lot better than I expected. If you've been meaning to watch it but have been putting it off, I definitely recommend you check out Richie Rich. It will unleash the inner child in you, make you wonder what you would buy with that money if you were a child. It basically allows us to live all of our childhood fantasies in a fun and quite educational way.